and welcome to the first edition of Globewatch 2025 with me, Charles Ebune Ed, from the Ambassadorial Hall of the Ministry of External Relations in Yaoundé, Cameroon. 15 days from now, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the next president of the United States of America. It will be the same day one of the world's largest gatherings will be taking place in the Swiss city of Davos. I'm talking about the Davos Economic Forum, where world leaders gather to discuss problems facing the world. Amongst them are scientists, which are almost 8 million of them in the world today. And one of them is my guest today, considered the world's outstanding and best mathematician today. Professor Abdon Atangana teaches in the Free State University in South Africa and is one of Cameroon's towering personalities, amongst others of Cameroonian origin like Kylian Mbappe, Francis Ngannou, and you can name the rest. With him, we discuss the place of mathematics in the development of societies. Professor Abdon Atangana, thank you very much. Happy New Year and welcome to Globewatch.
Thank you also for having me. Thank you for the viewer. And I'm glad to be here for the first time.
You were born in a legal Fomo in the central region of Cameroon. You did your secondary education locally before heading to the University of Yaoundé 1. First, establish your passion for mathematics to me.
It was when I was in primary school. I noticed that most of our formula, of course, that naturally mathematics was easy for me. But now, when I was in high school, I noticed that all the formula were named after people from the West. And I used to ask myself the following question: does that mean nobody from Africa has contributed to mathematics? Because we had Pythagoras theorem, we have Thales, we have Cauchy, we have all those formula. But I did not see the name of an African person. And that for me, I was not going to school just to pass. I was going to school so that one day I should also make a mark. That is the reason why I pass all my time, trying to understand what exists already and also to see what is missing and where can I come in for contribution.
So basically you were looking for an African space in the world of mathematics, one of the world's leading areas of science for development, and we'll come into the details in a moment. You studied in the University of Yaoundé 1, and to broaden that space for your Africanity, you went to South Africa. Why was the choice of South Africa? You should have gone to France or Greece, where some of the greatest mathematicians, Thales and others you just named, emanated from.
Yes. Just first of all, we have to understand that mathematics is everywhere. In Yaoundé 1, we have great mathematicians. And our mathematics, curriculum here in Cameroon is very strong. That's why one Cameroonian, they go anywhere, they are #1. Even when you have 12 over 20 here, you go to anywhere in the world, you will be one of the best. And what happened is that I grew up a little bit, it was very difficult for me even to go to the university. I used to go on foot from Mangue to Ngwaikele. And sometimes I used to pass 3 days without eating. And when I was doing my second, third year, I received a letter from somebody saying that I belong to their family. And when I went there, they told me that from now on, your father is Dr. Pierre Njenge. And Papa Pierre, who was also working here in Minirex, I think that is very well known, is the ambassador of Cameroon in Japan now. He's the one who came and told me that from now on, your misery is finished. So he's the one who decided to first send me to Canada. As I was going to Canada, I got admission there. And for the first time I was in love, I met a lady. She's from Tico. She's a doctor in chemistry, Dr. Ernestine. And I wanted to travel with her because I did not want to have too much time to go there and look for ladies.
The power of women.
Yes, so I wanted to travel with her. And when we got the admission for Canada, they told us to pay heavy school fees. And somebody told Professor Dr. Pierre Njenge that, no, South Africa is good. Then we decided to go to South Africa. And when I went there, I was speaking only French. So I have to go there and learn English by myself. That is how I found myself in South Africa.
In South Africa, typically an Anglo-Saxon country, you decided to study or you enrolled at the Free State University, Bloemfontein in South Africa. You obtained your PhD in mathematical sciences with focus on applied mathematics and theory. Why that choice?
No, just to understand the reason why. To be honest, the way we are being taught mathematics is just to, to understand formula, to prove theorem, abstract mathematics, and that is not what other people are doing. So when I was doing my master, I was mixing pure and applied mathematics. And when I finished my PhD, I had a problem.
Pure mathematics, what some may call here when you are in Cameroon secondary high school, it's probably further mathematics, something of that nature.
No, in this level, it's not that type of pure mathematics, like algebra, like graph theory. That is what we call pure mathematics, where you cannot see a direct application.
Okay.
So when I went there, I was solving a problem. What was my problem? I assume that you have an aquifer. The aquifer is a place where it is a void where water is traveling. And it's very important in many developed countries, people use that water as drinking water, so groundwater. And my problem was what? My problem was to build a mathematical model that will express the movement of that water through the geological formation, by taking into account things like fractures, so heterogeneity of the media. Then I finished my master and I got distinction, and somebody who was working at the Institute for Groundwater told me that what you solve is very important for us. Why can you not come now at the Institute for Groundwater to do your PhD with me, such that we can use your mathematical tool and with what we see in the field and put them together and see if we can solve the problem. So that is how I diverted from pure mathematics to applied mathematics. So, and to be honest, when I went to applied mathematics, I understood mathematics more. Now I understand why God asked us, to control the nature. Because controlling the nature is through formula. So when I went there, I was able to, here is the theorem. Is it really applicable? How can we apply it? That is how I find myself now doing applied mathematics.
You said that you wanted names or a name of an African named after a theorem. There are so many theories in mathematics. You have the game theory, you have the mathematical theory in communication, for example, for the job that I do, especially when you study the Palo Alto School of Communication. But you increase your knowledge in that, and you had so many prizes already that made you singular in the world. What are some of those key prizes you have won already?
I started by being nominated African Fellow of African Academy of Science, affiliated. That means when we were under 40. And I was the first in mathematics in Africa. Then later on, I got what they call Obada Prize. It is an international prize that is being given by Egyptian. Then after that, one of my, that I can say I was proud for the first time of myself, is that there is a web of science, because when you see professor, it's not just a title, it is your contribution. I was also elected Fellow of World Academy of Science under the age of 40, and that I was very glad, because they are not, I'm not sure there are more than 2 like that in the world. I become also the first person to get the twice, it is the World Academy of Science Award of Mathematics. So I got that award also.
Alongside UNESCO?
That is not UNESCO.
Okay.
So last year now I got the UNESCO Award of STEM. That was given to me in France, Paris. And that for the promotion of STEM in the world and my contribution in mathematics. I was representing Africa, and I was the first mathematician to win it. I was invited to the United States, New York, where all black American CEO from all over America. People even come from Europe, because we have some black African that are mayor in different countries there in Europe. They came. It was a very big ceremony where they were honoring me. So they call it Black Star Award. So I got that Black Star Award in November.
So in simple English, there is a mathematical theory named after an African today, and by conclusion, your dream has been achieved, right?
Yes.
Now, let's look at what mathematics can do for the development of countries. Yes. I take your home country, Cameroon, for example. Applied mathematics, where you are more of an expert, has to do with how you apply mathematical knowledge to subjects like biology, chemistry, physics, communication, and all the rest. Let me just name you 3 areas of Cameroon's development challenges: the energy sector, electricity, infrastructure, roads in particular, and the construction domain. If you had to input solutions to some of those areas, how does your mathematical knowledge come in?
You know, that is a very interesting question, although you zoom it in, according to what you view as problem. But me, I can deviate a bit.
You have the authority to do that.
And because I can see in Cameroon the most immediate thing that we have to do in our country, and is to slow down the pollution. And when you go everywhere here, I have to be honest, we see garbage everywhere.
The president in 2015 signed Cameroon for the Paris climate change deal, and by my understanding is that you are more concerned with environmental challenges, right?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. So we also have, although we have water in Cameroon, but I think that Cameroon also have problem of drinking water, pure potable water.
So you understand that energy, water is part of it?
Yes, yes. So in general, to make it short for everybody to understand the reason of mathematics, how it can be used to develop the country. Yeah. It is about observation. You observe a problem. You analyze that problem, you convert it into mathematical model. That is what we use as a model. When you had COVID here, we built a model. That model will be useful in terms of prediction to tell the country, in 3 days, we are going to have 10 people that are going to die. That we discuss with the government, and the government take decision that, what do you think that we can put in your model for the curve to go down? We can speak about vaccine, we can speak, for example, about lockdown, we can speak about, you know, lockdown as we had. Yeah, all the restrictions. We put those elements again into the mathematical model, and we tell the president that after 3 days, if we do this, this is the number of people that will die. So it is about prediction. And as I was talking about pollution, we can tell the government, for example, when we put garbage here, it goes into the ground, it travels. When it travels, people, it maybe is interacting with a specific river, and people in a specific village are drinking that water. That is why it makes many people to be sick. But how do we avoid this thing? How do we maybe use model to make sure that we can, first of all, tell people that by grouping something here, this is what is going to happen. So that is how we use mathematics to solve problems.
Let me just hang on the issue of garbage disposal and pollution, which you said, of course, there are roughly 4 million of plastics which are not needed in the Cameroonian space. The Ministry of Environment is trying to solve some of those issues. The garbage disposal across the country, you are talking about its connection with health, yes. Especially cancer, development, and all others. Do you have a project in that direction?
In that direction, it's very simple management. We don't need to build a mathematical model for that. I was discussing with my wife, for example. She told me that we can maybe use what is happening in South Africa, maybe in Rwanda. It's just our mindset, the public. Because,
cleanliness.
Yes, cleanliness, to say that I cannot...
Hygiene and sanitation,
yes,
imposed to everybody.
It should
like
be
a martial law.
Yes.
Because in Rwanda, that is what actually happens.
It should be actually a martial law. Because it's not everything that have to be solved.
Using democracy.
Yes. Yes, to be honest. Because we want to tell our young people that you cannot develop your country if you are not healthy. And for you to be healthy, your environment should be clean. And that is not the government that have to do it. It has to start from us, citizens, to say that I'm not going to use a banana and throw it somewhere. So it's not a matter of mathematics now. The mathematics can only tell them the effect of what people are doing by dropping, rubbish everywhere, to say that the pollution, the air pollution, groundwater pollution, those are the things that cause people to have disease in our country.
You also had an association of African mathematicians. At the level of the association, what is the intention? What is the goal?
The African Society for Industrial and Applied Mathematics.
Sure.
Okay. We noticed that in Africa in general, it is theory, only that they teach to our kids. And most people don't want to do mathematics anymore because they ask themselves, what is the use? When you are a mathematician, where will you work? But in the developing country, is what I was saying now, that we use
because
model.
in those days, they just used to say x minus w is equals to y, and 1 plus 1 is 2, and what, so it sounded like more of a routine, right?
Yes. Okay, but for example, if you are talking about the derivative, you tell a kid, la dérivée première, it is used for velocity. That velocity now can be used to evaluate the speed of car. You talk about la dérivée seconde, you tell the kid that for this, you are speaking about acceleration. So if you take derivative, you add acceleration, what model can you construct? How useful will that model be in a context of Cameroon, for example, to predict the movement of pollution, air pollution, or to speak, for example, about the interaction of animals? Let me tell you something. I have a project now with Namibia where we are solving a practical problem. A company came from Europe, Russia. They want to extract uranium in Namibia. But now the question is, by extracting uranium, are they going to destroy the ecosystem? So what we do now is to build a mathematical model. They give us the data that they have. They tell us exactly how they are going to implement that extraction. So we, as mathematicians, we will use our mathematical formula to build a model. When we build that model, we will take into account the farmers that are there around and what is the farmer produce as food, what is the importance of the food security in Namibia, groundwater also. So we take all those things into account and we build a model. We solve the model and we simulate it. We do the analysis of the solution. We are now able to tell the government that this deal is not going to be good for your country. So in fact, it even went to court. And the court people are waiting for our result to...
When I hear you talk mathematics in such simple ways, it encourages young people for a generation to study mathematics, as contrary to what happened to some of us many years ago. But I understand the essence is to make life easier, cheaper, affordable to communities. There is one area in Africa of public concern, road construction, for example, where they say to construct roads in Africa is very expensive. Are you trying to build modeling to see and compare and contrast the cost of road constructions in many African countries and make them cheaper when you compare the material and the essence of what is used in it?
Yeah, that can be done using control. But in general, when we are talking about road, it is network.
This has to do with mathematical engineering.
Yes, yes. But it is network. It is what we call in mathematics graph theory. As I said about prediction, when we are constructing the road, what is our aim? Do we want just to put something there after 2 days, it disappears? Or are we actually making sure that this road will be here for 20 or 30 years, before we start maintaining it? So those are
feasibility studies.
Yes, yes. So if we say that we are going to, it's going to be very difficult. If they say, okay, Prof. Abdon, do something, tell us how we can do a road. I will make sure that we go with the standard of Europe. We say, this is a road that we are building. We don't have a big budget. What are we going to do is that we make sure that this road should be there for 30 years. And we put everything in place, quality control when the road is being built.
All the equations are taken into consideration.
Yes, quality control, who will make sure that he tests that this road that we have put is going to be there for 20 years. I was before we continue, I was in Rwanda. So for a conference, as I was going to the airport, the driver told me, Prof, do you know why this place is like this? Like they destroy the road. So I asked him why. He told me that the idea of our government was that this road will be here for 25 years. and we gave money to a specific company to build that road. When they build the road, now we notice that it's going to be there for 20 years. The government asked that man, that company, to break everything and use their own money and make sure that that road is up to standard.
Prof, les gens comme vous, qui sont au sommet de la planète, qui sont les Camerounais, naturellement, lorsque vous arrivez à ce stade, vous dites la nationalité camerounaise, je ne la détiens plus. Est-ce que vous avez encore le passeport bleu?
Je vais dire ça de manière mathématique, je suis fractionnellement camerounais. C'est-à-dire, je ne sais pas comment je peux dire, la fraction, ça prend tout l'histoire d'ici à là, donc ça prend tout ce qui est ici. Je suis fractionnellement camerounais et je ne vais pas changer ma nationalité. Je suis fier d'être camerounais. Ça circule dans mon sang. Beaucoup de pays m'ont dit, est-ce que tu ne peux pas prendre notre nationalité? J'ai dit non. Le Cameroun, c'est un grand pays. Et c'est un grand pays et je crois qu'un jour, là où vous êtes là, nous allons aussi arriver. Il faudrait que les Camerounais restent chez eux.
Vous pratiquez le patriotisme mathématique?
Oui, donc je suis Camerounais.
Vous êtes un jeune qui a donc réussi dans le monde entier, ce qu'on peut considérer les meilleurs exemples de la destination camerounaise en 2020 ou bien 2023 ou bien 2020, le président invitait la jeunesse camerounaise d'aller dans le monde, conquérir, revenir, développer les pays. Quel est le message que vous avez pour la jeunesse camerounaise en particulier?
La jeunesse camerounaise, le destin du Cameroun est entre nos mains. C'est-à-dire, c'est ce que nous voulons voir le Cameroun être demain. On doit travailler sur ça aujourd'hui. Je comprends que de temps en temps, les jeunes sont fâchés, les jeunes disent des choses, mais qu'est-ce que nous-mêmes, en tant que jeunes, nous pouvons contribuer à notre pays? Comment nous pouvons faire pour que le pays ait un succès? Donc, pour moi, je pense qu'il faut travailler dur. Moi, j'ai travaillé dur. J'ai travaillé sérieusement dur dans ma vie, pour arriver là où je suis arrivé. Je ne suis pas encore au sommet. C'est Dieu qui est au sommet. Il faut être humble. Je vais continuer à travailler parce que l'Afrique a besoin de beaucoup de formules. L'Afrique a besoin aussi d'émerger. Beaucoup de gens disent que tel théorème, ça a été aussi introduit par un Africain. Donc, si vous dites que je suis déjà arrivé, non, je ne suis pas encore arrivé. Parce qu'un homme sage ne regarde pas ce qu'il a déjà fait.
C'est la modestie qui vous impose de dire ça?
Oui, un homme sage ne regarde pas ce qu'il a déjà fait. Il regarde le devant. Et devant moi, il y a un ensemble vide que je dois remplir. C'est pour cela que je dois continuer de travailler très dur. C'est pour cela que j'ai commencé le mouvement de l'Association africaine des mathématiques industrielles et appliquées pour dire aux jeunes que le développement, ce n'est pas la science. C'est bien sûr que le sport nous donne l'émotion, le patriotisme émotionnel, mais c'est pour un temps. Mais quand on a bâti un pays par la science, le patriotisme, quand vous voyez un Français dire, quelqu'un de l'Angleterre dit que je suis fier d'être anglais parce qu'il parle de Lionville, il parle de tous ces gens-là qui ont contribué de manière... Voilà.
William Shakespeare.
Voilà. Donc, ils sont fiers de dire que ce sont nos personnes. Donc, aussi, en Afrique, les trucs comme les TikTok, les trucs comme... Ça nous dévie. On doit arriver quelque part parce que l'Afrique était un temple de savoir. Avant, les gens venaient de partout. Et qu'est-ce qui se passait maintenant? Nous quittons l'Afrique pour aller en Europe alors que le temple du savoir était en Afrique.
Vous vous inscrivez dans la logique d'un ouvrage qui a été publié il y a des années par le professeur Jean-Emmanuel Pondy, un collectif. Je sais que vous connaissez le professeur Pondy. Et l'ouvrage est intitulé « Repenser le développement de l'Afrique de l'Afrique ». Vous êtes dans cette logique?
Oui. Supposons que l'Europe n'existait pas. Est-ce qu'on allait attendre quelque chose du ciel? On ne doit pas attendre quelque chose du ciel ou bien quelque chose de l'Europe. C'est pour cela que partout où je vais en Afrique, je me bats pour que les jeunes Africains sachent que notre changement, le développement de notre continent, qui est notre pays, parce que être Camerounais sont les divisions de l'Occident. On dit que je suis Camerounais parce que ce sont eux qui sont venus, ils ont divisé. C'était un pays. Le développement de notre pays, l'Afrique, c'est entre nos mains. On ne doit pas attendre les Européens. Moi, je ne vais jamais attendre les Européens. Donc, je dis que les jeunes Africains doivent se rassembler, unis avec une seule pensée le développement de l'Afrique.
You have gone through so many schools of life. You claim to have come from one of the country's poorest homes until your destiny changed at one moment. Normally in the African society, when you come from a poorer family, the idea is that you don't engage into sciences, more so mathematics, because it costs a lot of finances, so it's easier to do literature, to do history, somehow. Do you think there is something that you missed in life that you failed, and that you have found the mathematical solution today for those who come after you to learn?
I don't know, I'm not too sure. The only place I can say that maybe I fell in life was maybe languages, where I neglected them. Because you can see that my English is not that outstanding, my French is not that outstanding.
It's fantastic.
Yes, so I neglected languages. And for me, I'm not saying that it's mathematics that I have to solve that. For me, what I'm saying here is that we, as African people, we have to develop a language that will be used by all African people, so that we should reduce the power of the colonial master in us. You know, we are discussing here. We are discussing in English, and that is not our language. That is why we went to Tanzania this year to make sure to discuss about that issue. Can we have a language in Africa that all of us we can
Swahili
use?
and whatsoever.
Swahili and
Lingala.
Yes, Swahili, because everybody, even on the website of ASEAM, we also put Swahili, because it was in English, French. No, this is not us, so we put Swahili. So that is one area that I can say that I fell in life, and maybe, I don't know.
You are trying, the question is still yet to be sorted out.
Yes,
With that,
yes.
we conclude the interview. Professor Abdon Atangana, mathematician considered today to be the best in the world. I can see that you are so much attached to your African and Cameroonian roots, and especially language. So if I say Masukmina in Ewondo, you still understand some of it.
Me too.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for being my guest.
Thank you.